Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do the lab part D, where you have to create 3 different queries. The first query is a customer phone query. A query is just a search of the database to present a result set. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to create, and then I'm going to go to query design. Up comes the query by example window. Then what I do is I right click on the space up here, the window, and I go to just at the top where it's gray, and I click on show table, and here's the different tables that I can show. Here's the customers table that I want, and I can space it down so I can see it all. Okay, then what I want to do is I want to put in here is drop down list, and I say I want the customer ID, the customer last name, customer first name, and then the customer phone. Okay, and when I have that, I will then shut this down, and it'll ask me if I want to change it, and I am going to give it a name. Now just 1 minute, I've got to check what the name of it was. Customer phone list. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to save this. Do you want to save this as design? Yes. And I'm going to call it customer phone list, or I can go customer phone list like that. Click on OK. Now I already had one like that, so I was just renaming it, but that's how you would create that query. So in your queries list, I've got some others in here that I already completed, but you won't have them yet at this point. You won't have open orders, and you won't have product to reorder. But when I click on this now, see how it brings up a customer phone list of all the customers in my database. And that's how you do the first query in Lab 3 Part D. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to do the order line query. It's a query that will pull off order information, customer information, and product names, and it will for all orders that don't yet have a ship date. So they are what are called open orders that still need to be fulfilled. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on query design, and I'm going to then put these tables on here. I'm going to right click, show table, and then it's going to ask for, we want orders, customers, order line, and also products. Okay, so I've got all of these stored in here now, and I'm going to put them in a slightly different order just so that the relationship lines don't cross. Okay, next thing I have to do is I have to put in the various orders or various columns. I want the order ID, I want the order date, I want the customer ID, and I can get that from a number of different places. I'm not fussy where you get it from. I'm going to get it from the order's customer ID, but I could also get it from the customer ID here if I wanted. I want to get the customer last name, which is definitely going to have to come from the customers table right here. Customer last, you can see it there. Whoops, it moved over on me. Okay, and then from the order line table, I want to get the order line product ID and the order line quantity. Order line, and if you can't see it, then you can drag it across like this so that when you look at it again, you can see it better. Order line quantity, see that? And I'm going to make this smaller again. Okay, it's not allowing me to make it smaller like I want it to be. Okay, well I'm just going to keep moving then. And then product name, that would come from the products table. Product name. And then last of all, from the orders table, the order ship date. And again, I gotta make this a little wider, not too wide. Order ship date. Okay, all of these values that we have across here, we want the show button to be checked except for the order ship date. And then we want to go the criteria is null. Is null is different from 0. It means nothing is in the column. So that means that we want all orders where there haven't yet been shipped yet, because if they had been shipped there would be a ship date. Okay, and then when I have all that together and click on the run button, actually click on the X button to save it, and then save the design, yes, and then these would be open orders. This is our open orders query. I save that. Okay, and you can see, and I've got some other stuff in here, but here's my open orders query. I had previously done this and just called it open space orders, but here's open orders query. When I click on that, it gives me the order that currently isn't yet fulfilled, and that's correct. Okay, so so that's how you do the second query. The third query is the products to reorder, and I've already worked through it here, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. This has got the products and the suppliers table on it, and then this is telling me which products to reorder. So I have the product ID, product name, units in stock, reorder level, supplier ID, company name, supplier phone in here. And then what I do is for my criteria in the product units in stock, if the units in stock are less than the product reorder level, then list that product. So when I run it, it'll look like this. Okay, and this has told me these are the ones that I need to then reorder. So how do we go about creating that query? So I'm going to shut this down. Just a minute. And just let me get out of all this. Okay, so let's do that query next. So how do we now create the products to reorder query? What you would do is you would go on create, you would click on query design, and then click on right here, and you would put in the various columns. Oh, you need to put your tables in, so you right click and then you go to show table, and in this case we would want to go to make sure you're on tables right here. We need the product table. We also need the supplier table. Okay. Then we would put product ID here, product name. Then we would put product units in stock, and I might have to make this a little bit wider. Product units in stock, and then product reorder level, make this a little wider, product reorder level, and then supplier ID from the suppliers table, or the supplier company and the supplier company name right here, supplier company name, supplier company name, and then supplier phone as well needs to go in here. Right there. Move that over. Okay, and then what I have to do is I have to go here to the units in stock column, and I have to do all products that are less than or equal to the product reorder level. And this has to be spelt exactly the same way as it is in the actual design of the database. Okay, so for this one I have to go like this. less than or equal to product reorder level in square brackets. And I'm going to make this nice and big so you can see it. Make sure you type it exactly like that. If you have a spelling mistake or anything like that, then that's going to cause you a lot of problems. So when you're done that, you're going to then shut it down. It's going to ask you to, if you want to give it a new name, and save it, and then save it. And then if you run the query, you should find that Jones Jelly and Snyder's Spinach, it looks like, are ones that are below the reorder level, so they have to be reordered. And then you should be done. When you're done, you'll have the customer phone list, you'll have an open query, open orders query, and you'll have a products to reorder query. I have a few more in here only because I did it once and kept my solution in here and then did it a second time in order to just demonstrate it to you. And that's how you do this.